For I am a Nazirite to Yahawah from my mother's womb. If I am shaven, then my strength will leave me, and I shall be weak like any other man." Delilah's eyes flashed with triumph, though she hid it behind tender caresses, lulling him into slumber upon her lap, and as he slept she summoned a man to shave the 7 locks of his hair. When the last strand fell, the spirit of Yahawah departed from him, and she cried one final time, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson!" But this time, when he awoke to fight, his arms felt like lead, his body like stone, and he could do nothing as they seized him, gouged out his eyes, and dragged him in chains to Gaza. There, in the darkness of blindness, grinding grain in the prison like an ox, Samson tasted the full bitterness of his folly. Yet even in disgrace, even in weakness, a whisper of hope stirred within him. For though man's strength fails, Yahawah's covenant endures, and the hair upon his head began slowly, silently to grow again. In the darkness of Gaza's prison, where rats scurried across damp stone and the air stank of sweat and despair, Samson, once the mighty terror of the Philistines, now blind and broken, toiled endlessly at the mill like a beast of burden, pushing the heavy grinding stone in endless circles as mocking voices of guards filled the chamber. "Where is your God now, mighty Samson?" And though his body was withered and his sight gone, deep within him a flame still smoldered, faint but unextinguished. And as the days turned to weeks and weeks to months, something unseen began to happen. His hair, the sign of his Nazirite vow, began to grow again, curling in tangled locks over his shoulders, and with it, a quiet stirring of the spirit he had once squandered. Then came the day of the great feast to Dagon, the Philistine god, when lords and rulers from every city gathered in the massive temple to offer sacrifices and revel in their triumph over Israel's champion, and in their arrogance they demanded that Samson be brought forth to entertain them, to be their living trophy of humiliation. A young boy led him by the hand into the colossal hall, where over 3,000 men and women crowded the balconies, laughter and jeers cascading down like a storm. "Play for us, blind fool! Show us your strength!" And in the center of that mockery, beneath the towering pillars that upheld the roof, Samson stood silently, his empty eyes lifted toward heaven, and for the first time in years, his heart was free of pride, free of self, and filled only with desperate faith. Leaning close to the boy who guided him, he whispered, "Lead me to the pillars that support the house, that I may lean on them." And when his hands touched the cool stone, he spread his arms wide, pressing against the massive supports, and prayed with a trembling voice, "O Yahawah, sovereign God of Israel, remember me, I pray thee. Strengthen me, I beg thee, only this once, that I may be avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes." And as he spoke, the spirit of Yahawah surged within him one final time, filling his wasted frame with divine might. And with a deep breath, he braced himself, muscles straining, veins bulging, the pillars beginning to tremble under his force. Above, the revelry turned to panic as cracks spidered through the stone, screams rising in the air, but Samson did not falter, crying out with his last breath, "Let me die with the Philistines!" And with a roar that shook the heavens, he heaved with all the strength of his soul, and the pillars shattered, the roof collapsing in a deafening avalanche of stone and timber, crushing lords, warriors, and commoners alike beneath the ruins. The camera lingers on the chaos, dust and screams, then silence, as the temple of Dagon lies in ruins, and beneath the rubble, the body of Samson lies still, arms outstretched, as if in eternal embrace of sacrifice. Later, his family comes quietly, lifting his lifeless form from the debris and carrying him back to Israel. And as they walk into the fading light of dusk, the narrator's voice carries over the final image of the broken temple. And so in death, he slew more than in life. A man of flaws and might, chosen from the womb, who through his final act fulfilled the purpose of Yahawah and delivered his people. His legacy not of pride, but of redemption through sacrifice.